One of our sources is Macintosh P. in 2008, titled White Privilege, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, Women, Images, and Realities. Another source is Pearson M. in 2015, September 17th. Matt Damon apologizes over Project Greenlight and Whitesplaining. And our last source is from 2015, September 30th, by Elder C, called Whitesplaining: What It Is and How It Works. So what is whitesplaining? Have you ever had an experience where someone is explaining to you, maybe in a lot of detail, something you actually already know quite a lot about, possibly about your own life? Whitesplaining is the act of whites lecturing non-whites, people of color, on what should and shouldn't be considered racist, while obviously exhibiting their own racism. It is the act of explaining something in a condescending manner that is specifically regards to race relations or minority efforts, while presuming the listeners inferior to understanding due to their race. Here's a specific example of whitesplaining.
Recently, Matt Damon preached on prejudice when he talked over a black female producer, Effie Brown, in an attempt to explain diversity to her. The incident occurred on Project Greenlight, the HBO show created by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, which documents the process of giving an inexperienced director the chance to make a $3 million feature film. Brown emphasized that the only black character in the project, a woman who was slapped by her white pimp, proves problematic in perpetuating racist stereotypes. Because of this, she suggested that the directing team be mindful in considering some of the story's racial dynamic. Damon then interrupted her, explaining that diversity only matters when casting talent in front of the camera, not behind the camera. He also explains that at the heart of his argument, that if they focused on hiring people based on diversity, it would take away from the integrity of the project. Merit, he said, was much more important.
I just would want to urge people to think about whoever this director is, the way that they're going to treat the character of Harmony. Her being a prostitute, the only black person being a hooker who gets hit by her white pimp.
We brought up to each other. So I think on the surface, they look like one thing, but they might end up giving us something that we don't want. And when we're talking about diversity, you do it in the casting of the film, not in the casting of the show.
Whew.
And when we're talking about diversity, you do it in the casting of the film, not in the casting of the show.
Viola Davis, after becoming the first African American to win an Emmy for her role on How to Get Away with Murder, which is directed and written by Shonda Rhimes, a black woman, gave an acceptance speech that placed her award within a larger context of diversity in Hollywood.
You cannot win an Emmy for roles that are simply not there. So here's to all the writers, the awesome people that are Ben Sherwood, Paul Lee, Peter Nowak, Shonda Rhimes, people who have redefined what it means to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be a leading woman, to be black.
Going back to the idea of merit, if the box office in Hollywood is any indication, hiring a filmmaker of color or a woman doesn't mean sacrificing integrity, merit, or success. In fact, filmmakers like Gary F. Gary, Straight Outta Compton, and Steve McQueen, 12 Years a Slave, are continuing to break box office records while authentically and responsibly telling compelling stories. If there was one movie Damon should have watched before bringing Brown onto his show, it should have been Dear White People.
Man, fuck Tyler Perry.
Yeah, can we have a movie with, characters in them instead of stereotypes wrapped in Christian dogma?
Why is every educated person inherently evil? Why is this nigga in a motherfucking dress all the motherfucking time?
How come the only black movies Hollywood wants to make are ones with black mammies in fat suits?
Or black women in pain, man.
So basically, we got black people dying in the past and black people dying in the present.
Most people are here to see Fang 9. It's got 2 chains in it.
Oh,